My next guest says that while the U.S. might be heading into a recession, we're not quite there yet, and that there's good value investing opportunities in Japan. Professor David Costa is the Dean of the Robert Kennedy College, and he joins me now. David, there's good value out there.
Louisa.
Hello. You say there's good value in Japan. You say we're not quite in a recessionary stage now, and yet the markets, they seem to indicate different today at least. What's going on today, do you think?
Well, today we are very much subject to the situation that in the US the market is closed. So I do see a bit of an exaggeration, overreaction today. And we are not yet into a recession. We are getting close. Much depends on what is going to happen in the next couple of weeks if the market keeps having this very, very pessimist mood. But if we found a way out, if we have some good news to balance the amount of bad news now in the market, we will see a rebound, at least in some of the international markets, and not all.
International markets, I'll come to that in a minute. I'll come to the European and the US markets in a minute. I just want to talk about the Asian markets for a second. We're just looking at the Asian markets on screen, how some of them closed. The Nikkei closing lower by 3.8%. A buying opportunity now, and what do we buy?
Nikkei is a buying opportunity for value investor and, if I may say, intelligent investor. So now many of the companies on the Nikkei are trading at less than book value. So if you are a value investor, if you are an intelligent investor and you're looking to buy with a bit of a short mid-term range, so I would say at least 6 to 12 months horizon, that is a good buy. If you are into short buying, that's probably not the right time to go.
Okay.
Short term, I mean.
Sure, okay. How far up do you think the Nikkei could potentially go? I mean, what's your call on the Nikkei?
My call is that the Nikkei, seeing how heavily undervalued are a number of companies on the index, I would say if the year is looking slightly better, we could think about 10, 15, even 20% this year.
Okay. I want to move on and talk about some of your other picks and some of the other markets as well. So Europe today is being heavily sold off. Where do we position ourselves in Europe?
Well, Europe, again, is highly linked to the United States, as we have seen. Some bad mood in the U.S. is influencing Europe heavily. The Swiss market, I used to see it as a bit of a better safe haven than other markets, but I've seen also very negative impact here. So in Europe, again, it might be a very good buying opportunity if you set your investment horizon in the mid and long term. If you are, again, into a short term, Europe needs a bit more time. We need to see whether there are some good news coming into the US market which might impact Europe. Asia is also heavily affected from the US market, but not as much. For instance, Japanese bank has pretty much nothing to do with the subprime mortgage.
And the US, you're still cautious on US equities, you're also cautious on the US dollar.
Well, US dollars, I would be cautious in the short term, but in the long term, again, we have seen the US dollar losing very, very much. So if you are investing in a 2-3 years horizon, I wouldn't see the US dollar depreciating so much in the next 2-3 years. But in this year, I'm not very optimistic on the US dollars, unless, again, we see some kind of very good, very optimistic news from the United States, probably with the new president. We're going to see that, and hopefully before.